What is up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of my Skullgirls mobile newbie guide. So the early game can get pretty overwhelming. There's so much to do, but with so little knowledge to work with. You have so much to spend resources on, but with not much to spend. And honestly, for the most part it's fine. People usually get by without much problems. But as they learn more about the game, a lot of players, myself included, often realize the same thing. I could have made better choices in the early game. So you know what? It's time to break the cycle. It's time for new players to know what's what right from the start. Number 1, you don't have to invest in your first 3 fighters. And you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle over here. Now don't get me wrong, you can get by with these fighters, especially understudy. Cause as you learn over time, it's pretty hard for any Cerebella to be bad in this game. But I assure all of you, you can definitely do better than these guys. And the good thing is, you get a lot of chances to grab them early. Literally the first login bonus is a bronze relic. Completing the very first chapter of story mode 100% gives you 2 more of them. Even the extra tutorial gives you another one. And let's not forget all the freebies we get in the mail. And I'm telling you, there's often a lot. So who are the fighters you need to look out for? So real quick, these fighters are Cold Stones, Sheltered, Rusty, Bad Hair Day, with Beatbox as an honorable mention. Now, as to why they are better, I'll talk about that in my next video. For now, just know that these fighters are who you want to spend your early game resources on. Number 2. When it comes to upgrading, not too long, not too wide. Okay, what does that even mean? Let me explain. Let's start with going long. This is what newer players do when they invest all their resources on expensive higher tier fighters like golds and diamonds. They'd end up with 1, maybe 2 really strong fighters but not much else. This becomes a problem for early game players because their viable options become limited. Not to mention, a lot of the treasure nodes in story mode require bronze fighters. This also becomes a problem in rift battles because each fighter can only be used twice. Not to mention the extra points you get from using them just once. So going long isn't the best idea, but what about going wide? What if you just spread it all out evenly? Well, you're gonna get a totally different problem. Though you will end up with a lot of options, none of them are gonna be viable for stronger teams. So you need to keep it balanced. My advice is to follow the keys. You get a lot of bronze keys at the start of the game. It's enough keys to focus on around 3 bronzes, so you might want to start with those. As you progress and start earning silver keys, you can then start on your good silvers. Then eventually to your golds and diamonds. Number 3, farm skill points before evolving. Before losing your extra fighters in evolution, be sure to level them up first. Skill points are pretty hard to come by in the early game, so be sure to do this. In the early game, I like to level bronzes until around level 15, but it's really up to you where you want to stop. Number 4, upgrade different fighter types to save on skill points. You see, skill points are shared among fighters of the same type. Notice the 23 skill points on my Sheltered are the same as that of my Heavy Rain. So if I try to invest both at once, I'm going to run out twice as fast. This is why it's smart to upgrade different fighter types so they don't compete for the same skill points. Number 5, do not power up your fighters. Seriously, just don't. Please. One reason or another, you're going to need these extra fighters. So do your future self a favor and don't do this. Number 6, do not spend coin on relics. I know it's tempting, but don't. In the early game, just follow this simple rule of resource management. CANOPY coin for upgrades, THEONITE for relics. Trust me on this, you'll thank me later. Last, and most certainly not least, make friends. Gift trading in the social hub is easily the most useful feature for early game players. Gifts can give you CANOPY coin, skill points, rift coin, keys, energy baby bottles, fighter relics, and probably the most useful farming tool in the game, double experience boosters. I cannot stress enough how good these gifts are. So the moment you hit level 5, Make it a habit to go on multiple chat channels and ask nicely for people to add you. Do this every day until your friend list is full. So that's it, guys. Follow these guidelines and you'll have little to no problems in the early game. Hope you all learned something. Thanks for watching. That's a wrap.